This show supports limited government. It's the reason that many in government will not appear on this program. So I was surprised to get this email. I have admired your reporting, and if you ever want to talk to someone with experience running government social service programs, I would be happy to. That came from the boss of a big piece of the welfare state, the New York City Human Resources Administration. The HRA employs 15,000 people who give benefits to my neighbors, food stamps, home care, job centers, and so on. Commissioner Robert Doar runs the office, so welcome, Commissioner. I appreciate you coming on my show.
Thanks for having me.
So I admire you for trying, but my assumption is that your bureaucracy teaches people dependency.
Well, that's wrong, because we have a work requirement in our welfare program. And when welfare reform passed, the welfare per caseload in New York City was 1.1 million, and now under Mayor Bloomberg, it's at 360,000. We enforce the work requirement aggressively. We put people to work in all kinds of work experience type activity and workfare. We've continued to do that. We do that for single individuals on food stamps as well. So we have a work requirement, and we stress it every day. And in most audiences, where I go around the city of New York, there are lots of people who come to tell me that I shouldn't do that. But we still do.
That you're too tough.
That's what I get told.
You've got 15,000 employees. I assume they want to help people and they direct them to jobs. But 10 years in, their civil service, they're just going through the motions. You can't fire the bad ones, right?
We have something called JobStat. We call our center directors in on a monthly basis and ask them how are they doing getting people to work. We set a goal, 85,000 last year. We did it last year. We're on the score to do it this year.
Placements meaning
getting people
get a job.
Get a job, getting into employment. Now, it doesn't work for every individual. Not everybody steps up, and we do have programs that assist people while they're moving toward employment. But in cash welfare, we stress work and we require work.
And of your 15,000 employees, can you fire bad ones, lazy ones, without going through unbelievable hoops so you don't even try?
Well, the civil service rules in New York are difficult if you have people that aren't doing exactly what you want. I would acknowledge that. But by and large, HRA employees do a good job. And they believe, one thing you'll find in welfare policies programs, John, is the most conservative people on welfare are the caseworkers who see the welfare recipients every day. Because they go to work. They're showing up every day, and they expect the same from people who ask for assistance.
All right. As I said, I suspect your programs teach dependency, encourage it. Now and then I go to your centers and I interview people. No jobs around?
No.
Have you looked for a job?
I can't work right now because I'm on disability.
There's nothing out there. Nothing.
There are no jobs?
No.
No jobs. We heard that again and again. Then my researchers walked around within a couple blocks and found 40 businesses hiring. Within a few blocks of that job center, 24 offered jobs for beginners. But they said the people getting handouts don't bother to apply. So I wondered, as I said, what your employees really do at the job center. I asked a college intern, Zoel Mallenbaum, to go there and ask them for help. Well, tell what you did.
Sure. So I went to a job center downtown in New York City, and I said, hi, I'm a college intern, and I'm looking
for... The same job center where they were saying there were no jobs.
That's right, the exact same center. And I said, I'm looking for a job. What can you guys do to help me work? And they told me I should go and apply for food stamps, and that they wouldn't help me unless I was receiving handouts.
So you tried another job center?
I did. I walked across town, and I went to another job center and said the same thing. And they told me, we don't give jobs, we give out food stamps.
Commissioner?
I can't account for every encounter an individual may have. I will say this. Did you get on assistance?
I did not get on assistance.
You did not get on assistance. She didn't get any benefits.
I wasn't.
Try. Well, if she wanted them badly enough and she was pushing hard enough, she would have.
I wasn't looking for assistance, though. I wanted to work. I wanted a job.
And we telling people...
Could you have gotten assistance? They were offering it to you.
I mean, I'm sure that I could have applied if I wanted to.
Well, she didn't, and she didn't get assistance.
Tell the rest of your story. You kept looking for jobs.
So I did. I kept looking. I went to a Workforce One center up in Harlem. I took the train all the way up there that same day. And they actually turned me away. They said, we can't help you yet. You need to come back at 8:30 in the morning next week and go to a jobs training session.
She could have found a job on her own more easily than going to all these government help centers, because eventually they got you an interview. One sent you to Pret, the food store. And you talked to the manager there, and he said what?
Well, I went to Pret for an interview, and it turned out it was just a public open house where anyone could walk in. And so I waited an hour and a half. and finally spoke with the manager and told him my story, told him about Workforce One. And he said that he rarely communicates with Workforce One. He said they never call him, they never ask any questions. And then I asked, well, how are the people that they send? Are they people that you want to hire? And he said no.
The fact is that the welfare caseload's at 360,000. That's as low as it was in 1965. That's because we have a work requirement in New York City.
Well, I mean, that is absolutely great, but I'm still think if you're 15,000 employees, and we're talking about employment, there's some of it, but it's like the Soviet Union.
We do a lot more than just cash assistance. We provide public health insurance. We provide adult protective services. We do child support enforcement, which goes after deadbeat dads to make sure they pay child support for their children. We collected $700 million for families with absent parents last year. $200 million went to moms who used to be on welfare. So it's a big agency. It doesn't just do cash welfare. In fact, what's funny about our program is that the old cash welfare program is much, much smaller than the rest of the agency, when in the old days it was a big part of the agency.
And now Medicaid, Medicare, these are much bigger programs, agreed. But do you ever, as you look at the civil service rules, think, gee, you know, we're trying. It's hard to fire people. I can't really manage the way I would if I were in the private sector, that charity would do it better?
No, I don't, honestly. I don't think that charity all by itself would provide public health insurance to the number of people we provide in New York City. The fact is employers don't provide for low-wage workers insurance anymore. They don't. Now, I don't know what happened to the health insurance market.
But there wouldn't be charity Catholic hospitals that would take people in?
I don't think the hospitals would be able to survive without some form of public health insurance. And I think if you want to talk about welfare spending and you want to look at those statistics, make sure you make a differentiation between Medicaid spending, which is $30 billion in New York City, versus cash welfare, which is $1 billion. So there's a difference. And Medicaid, you're right, healthcare costs are driving this country to bankruptcy. But don't blame it on poor people seeking welfare or food stamps.
All right, on that note, thank you, Zoel Mellenbaum and Commissioner Doar. Please stick around.